go to pocket-trips.com on Google Chrome browser. Log in with your provided username and password. Here you can create a new trip or mouse over an existing trip to view and edit it by clicking on the pencil icon. You can change the name of your trip, description, and profile icon. Leave the page settings as best fit and click Next. Here you can view all the hotspots in one trip and edit their GPS region and content. To edit the hotspot's GPS, go to its pin on the map and click on the first icon. Drag the outer red circles at each of its points to adjust its shape. Drag the inner red circle at the center to shift your GPS region around. Drag each of the orange circles in between 2 points to create an additional point. When satisfied with your GPS region, click Save. To edit a hotspot's name, description, and profile picture, click on the pencil icon. Here you can change the name. Click Edit to select another picture. We recommend using the same picture as you use for the home page. And edit all this text to change the description, the address, and the operating hours. Once done, click Save. Now double-click on the content pages below to open it in the authoring tool. Let's start from page 1, the home page. Double-click on it. The home page is made up of an image widget, text widget, another text widget, a dividing line, and a white background. The home page is made up of an image widget, a text widget, another text widget, a dividing line, and a white background. To change the image, click on the image widget, go to the Properties column, and browse Resource. This brings you to the image resource library. Click Upload to add a new image from your computer. Double-click or Open to add it to the image resource library, and double-click on the new image one more time to add it to the image widget. As you can see, that replaces the first picture with the new one. For the home page, we use a picture with a width and height of 414 by 370. Save the page. If you want your first picture back, click on the image widget, browse Resource, and locate your first picture in the resource library. Double-click on it to change the picture again. If you want to use both images, delete the image widget and add a slider widget instead. Click on the image widget, go to the Layers column, and press X. Now drag in the slider widget, drop it on the canvas. Place the slider widget similar as the image widget. Go to the Properties column, X position 0, Y position 0, width 414, height 370. And your slider widget is in place. Now go to Browse Resource. Select the first picture you want to use. Browse Resource one more time and select the second picture you want to use. This adds both images to the slider widget. You can save the page and preview it with View Page. The slider widget will automatically change the picture every 5 seconds, or you can swipe the screen to change it. Save the page. Or if you want a side-by-side comparison between two photographs, you can use the BeforeAfter widget instead. Delete the slider widget, drag in the BeforeAfter widget, and place it similar position 00414 by 370. Now scroll down the properties column and select the first image. Click on before image. Upload the first image. Double click to use it. Select the after image. Upload the second image and double click. You can change the labels, the overlay label. Instead of before and after, you could have night and day, past and present, up to you. Enter in your new label and click enter. Now save the page and preview the page with view page. And there you have your image slider widget to do an overlay comparison between two photos. When uploading images, please remember to downsize your images before uploading them into PocketTrips to decrease your project's total file size. To downsize an image, first go to image editing software such as Photoshop. Open up your image, and now you can also crop your image first. For the home page, all images are 414 by 370. For all other pages such as the story, the to-do, and the challenges, the images used have the dimensions of 414 by 275. After cropping your image, go to Image, Image Size, and resize your image down to 800 width. 800 is big enough to be high resolution on both phones and tablets. Go to File, Save for Web, save it out as a JPG of high quality 60. Now that your picture has been prepared, go back to PocketTrips, add files, and search for your picture to upload it. Notice that the picture has been reduced from few MB to only 80 KB. As you work, please delete any unused resources to save the project's total file size and to keep your project neat. So if you do not want to use this picture anymore, right-click and delete it from the resource library. And then delete it off your widget also. To edit the header text, double-click into the text box to start editing it. For the homepage header, we use the font Roboto Medium, size 36, line height 2.5, and color code hex 282828. To change the color, click on Font Color, More Colors, and paste in the color code. Now click OK. If you are editing the text widget directly, the correct fonts and colors will be retained. If you are copy and pasting in some new text, copy and paste it into Notepad first. And from Notepad, copy and paste it into PocketTrips. Start your mouse cursor right behind the last letter and paste. And the correct fonts and colors will still be retained. However, if your homepage header has changed from one line to 2 lines, you will need to go to the Properties column and change the height of this text widget. Click on the text widget. On the Properties column, instead of height 100, change it to 140. Now there is sufficient space for the 2-line header, but we will need to shift down the dividing line and the next text widget. First, let's extend the template by the same amount. Go to page height and extend it by 40. That will be 870. Click on the white background and you can just pull it down lower to meet the template. Click on the dividing line and shift it down by 40 also. To do that, go to the Y position and add 40. Lastly, click on the text box and also add 40 to the Y position. You shift it down by 40. And there you have everything in place. But if you were changing the homepage template header from 2 lines into 1 line instead, you would need to shorten this text widget and then shift up the rest of the page. Click on the text widget. In the properties column, height, instead of 140 for 2 lines, change it to 100 for 1 line. Then click on the dividing line, go to the Y position and decrease it by 40. Instead of 540, make it 500. Click on the text box, go to the Y position, decrease it by 40 also. Now the spacings are all correct. We can shift up the template, make it shorter by 40. Click on the white background, decrease the height by 40, and then decrease the page height by 40 also. Or you can just manually pull up the template. Likewise for editing the next text box. To add text, you can copy and paste it into Notepad, and from Notepad, copy and paste it into PocketTrips. If you're adding more text, you will need to extend the height of the text widget and then pull the page template down to give it more space. First, let's extend the page height. Give it an estimate to increase it by first. Okay, this looks like enough space. Pull down the white background. Now click on your text box and pull down the bottom parameter. Give your text box some buffer space so that on phones with larger font size, the text is not cut off. Let's give it about this amount of space. Then pull up your page, white background, and template. And save. For the introduction text on the home page, we use the font Lato Regular, font size 18, line height 1.8, and the color text 282828. Highlight all the text, go to font color, paste in the hex code here, and press OK. With that, now you know how to create the home page. Let's go on to the next page. Go to the page list, click on page 2. And that is the first information page, known as story page 1. Similarly, as you have learned in the home page, all these images and text can be edited. Clicking on the slider widget, go to the properties column. If you want to delete one of these pictures, click on its X to delete it. Then go to browse resource and upload or select your next picture and save the page to preview it. If it is a slider widget, all the images should be pre-cropped to the same proportions to match each other. Editing the text widgets is also similar to what you have learned on the home page. However, the information page uses a different font styling from the home page. For the main story header, we use the font Roboto Bold, font size 40, and a line height of 2.5. Font color text 282828. If you are changing the header from 2 lines to 1 line, click on the text widget. On the properties column, the height, Instead of 120 for 2 lines, change it to 70 for 1 line. Then just drag the upper parameter of the next text widget up to meet the header. And you can then shorten the buffer space a bit and shift up everything else if you want to. If you were changing the header from 1 line to 2 lines instead, click on the text box, go to the properties column and change the height from 70 to 120. Then click on the next info text and drag down the upper parameter to be aligned with the header. And increase the buffer space slightly. If the header was 3 lines long, click on the header text widget, and on the properties column, change the height from 120 to 170. Then click on the next info text and drag the upper parameter down to meet the header. Increase the buffer space slightly and shift down everything else on the page. The story text is using font Lato Regular, size 18, line height 1.8, and color code hex 282828. If you need to add in more text, copy and paste it into Notepad. Copy and paste from Notepad into PocketTrips. Put your cursor just behind the last letter or punctuation and paste. Press enter twice to give it a new paragraph. Now you need to extend the length of the page template and shift down everything else on the page. First, on the properties column, let's increase the page height. Give it an estimate. I'll increase it by 300. Okay, this looks like enough space. Click on the white background and pull it down to extend it. Click on the page number, go to the Y position and shift it down by 300. Do the same for the rest. Click on the gray background. The header. And this text box. Increase the Y position of everything by 300. Now everything has been shifted down by 300. Click on the text box and extend it. For a long text like this, 5 paragraphs, give it at least 1.5 inches of buffer space. So on phones with bigger font size, the text will not be cut off. Now if there's too much space here, you will have to shift up everything here. Again, click on the gray cut. First, decrease the Y position of the gray cut to shift it up. This buffer space looks right. The did you know header is placed 15 space below the gray cut. Click on the gray cut. The Y position is 1740. That means the did you know header would be 1740 plus 15, 1755. And that gives a space of 15 in between the gray cut and the header. Now for the info, just drag it up to meet the header. If you need to add more text into the gray cut, extend the length of the gray cut. Click on the gray background, drag the parameter down, and drag the text box down too. For gray cuts, leave a buffer space of about 1 centimeter will do. Let's shift the page numbering slightly lower. Increase Y position by 20. And leave a buffer space of at least 1 cm white space at the bottom of every page. This being story page 1, will need a link to story page 2. The links is in this bar at the top and this button at the bottom. Links are created by placing empty image widgets over the icons and linking that image widget in the properties column. Set the hyperlink to your next page. In this case, info page 2 is page 14. So from page 2, my first information page, I link this image widget hyperlink to page 14. And then from page 14, I will link the back button, hyperlink it back to page 2. And that's how you create links. To change the picture and text inside the header bar, first shift away the empty image widget. And then click on the icon behind. Browse resource to upload or choose a new icon. Double click into the text widget to edit the title of the next story. Referring to the storyboard, this was the title for story page 1, and this is the title for story page 2. So that goes here in the link. The font for next is Roboto Regular, font size 16, line height 1.5, color hex 5C, 5C, 5C. The font for the small story title is Roboto Medium, size 20, line 1.4, color 282828. The font for the page number is Roboto Regular, size 18, line height 1.5, color code hex 4A, 4A, 4A. The font for next page is Roboto Medium, size 18, line height 1.5, font color hex 6C9D03. Shift back the empty image widgets above the icons and save your page. Now info page 1 is complete. You can save the page and view page to test out that your links are working. Clicking on the top header bar will bring you to info page 2. The coordinates of the link header bar are, clicking on the text box, x39, y9, width 226, height 84. This changes if the next story's title is only 1 line long. Then we would shift the Y position down to 23 to align it in the middle of the bar. For the image icon, X position 280, Y 0, width 100, height 100. And for the little gray arrow, X position 392, Y 39, width 11, height 23. Once all this is in place, shift the empty image widget link back above it. Now on story page 2, the placement of the header and the icon below is actually reversed. On page 2, it will be on the left side of the page with the arrow pointing back. The word next is changed to previous, and the title here is the title of story page 1. On story page 2, the coordinates of the link bar are the gray arrow, x10, y40, width 11, height 23. For the icon, which is the picture of info page 1, icon would be x34, y0, width 100, height 100. This text box here, x 150, y 13, width 174, height 84. When it's all in place, shift back the empty image widget back above it, and make sure it is hyperlinked back to story page 1. At the bottom of info page 2, the previous page link has an x position of 23, y 1800, width 123, and height 35. The page number still has the same coordinates as story page 1. Just that of course it is 2 out of 2. You can click on any widget on a page to see its coordinates and positions. For example, click on the slider widget. On the properties column, you can see the coordinates x equals to 0. This aligns it to the left of the canvas. Y equals to 100. That gives it a space of 100 below the header. Width is 414. That follows the page width, so you get a full screen picture. And the height is 275. That gives the picture its landscape dimension. Notice also that the text boxes on the page have an x position of 23 and a width of 368. This gives them an equal spacing on the left and right and aligns all the text boxes. The gray cut for additional information also have an x position of 23 and a width of 368. The text inside the gray cut has an x position of 40 and a width of 334. This aligns the text further inside the gray cut. Notice also that the additional information text has a smaller font size than the main story text. For the gray cut text, we are using Lato regular size 16, line height 1.7, color text 282828. For the gray cut's header, we are using Roboto Bold size 22, line height 1.8, and font color of text 9B, 9B, 9B. The position of the header in the Do You Know cut is 15 spaces below the gray cut. So clicking on the gray cut, if the Y position is 1740, the Y position of the header would be 1740 plus 15, which is 1755. For the main story header, there is a space of 25 below the picture. So you click on the picture, Y position 100, add that to the picture height of 275, which is 375 plus 25, which is 400. So clicking on the big header, we would start from a Y position of 400, and that gives a space of 25 below the picture. Do write down all these coordinates to help you remember, and you can open up any of our template pages, click on each widget, and see its coordinates in the properties column for reference. Now let's view page 3, the to-do page. Go to the page number list and click on page 3 to open it up. To edit our to-do template, click on the to-do widget and click Manage on the properties column. You can mouse over each to-do and click on the pencil icon to edit it. Now change the to-do title, description text, and picture by clicking Browse. Once done, click Add, and you can continue editing the other to-dos or delete them with the X. or add a new to-do with Add New below. Once you have finished editing your to-dos, click Save To-Do. And the to-do widget will be updated when you click Save. Now you can view page to preview your to-do widget. For the to-do page, coordinates to take note of are page width and height 414 by 800. Same for the white background, 414 by 800. Header above, X position 23, Y position 23, and just enough width and height. X and Y position 23 gives it the equal spacing to the top and the left. For the to-do widget itself, use X position 18, Y position 100, width 380, height 630. The to-do page header, font style Roboto bold, size 28, line height 1.9, color code hex 6C9D03. For this line here, Roboto regular, size 18, line height 1.9, color hex 9B9B9B. For the to-do list itself, all the fonts are preset, pre-coded. There is no need for you to change the fonts. And that's all for the to-do page. Now let's open up the challenge page. There are many different kinds of challenges. Refer to the storyboard as to what challenge, what activity are you planning for the users at that hotspot. There may be photo challenge, video challenge, a quiz challenge called the Smarty Pants, a game challenge, a image recognition challenge called Seeker challenge, and so on. It's up to you to plan what challenge you want the users to do at that hotspot. First, I will take you through how to recreate this Smarty Pants challenge and MCQ quiz. First, let's view page to preview what the quiz looks like. If you answer wrongly, the system will feedback to you, ask you to try again. When you answer correctly, you will go on to the next question or to the next page at the end of the quiz. Now I will delete this basic quiz widget and delete the gray image to show you how to recreate it. First, the gray image. Drag out the quiz widget, browse resource, select the gray Did You Know box. Stretch options, choose stretch to fit. This will fill up the whole widget. Now let's use the coordinates to put it in place. X position 23, that gives it the spacing on the left. Y position 70, width 368, that gives the equal spacing on the left and the right. As for height, let's use 550 first, but we will extend it if the quiz takes up more space. Now create the basic quiz. Click on basic quiz widget, drag it out on top of the gray. This time the basic quiz widget, you can manually drag the parameters to place it exactly above the gray background, but lift it up by 1 centimeter above the gray background to give space for the submit button to appear here on the gray. Next, while selecting the quiz widget, go to the properties column and add question. Here you can paste in your question text and options and browse resource to add a picture. Let's refer to the storyboard to put in the question and options. For quizzes, we usually give 4 options. To add a second option, click on the plus sign. so on. Now tick the correct option. This will feedback to the system that this is the correct answer and feedback to the user as such. Browse resource to add a picture to this quiz. Select a landscape picture related to the question, click Save, and your first question has been created. Let's preview it with View page. If you want to add one more question, click the quiz widget again and click Add Question again. Now input your second question and options and picture. After completing your quiz, remember to hyperlink it. If you want users to be directed automatically to the next page after they have clicked OK, add the last question's answer feedback. Open up your challenge completed page. This page is where all the challenges will link to. So from the quiz widget, hyperlink it to page 15, the challenge completed page. Leave almost an inch of empty space at the bottom of the quiz widget. This is to ensure that text will not be cut off and to give space for the submit button to appear below it. And as usual, 1 cm of empty space at the bottom of the page. Now that you know how to create a MCQ quiz, I will show you how to create a photo challenge, asking users to take a creative photograph at the location. So we can delete away this quiz widget and delete the gray card. Only quiz challenge uses this gray card. Now for photo challenge or video challenge or sticker challenge, we will place an image widget underneath the header. This image widget would have the coordinates of x is 0 to align it to the left, y is 70 to give it a spacing here, width following the page width 414 to make it full screen, and height 275 to give the image the landscape proportion. Now browse resource for the image that you want to add. Next, add in the text widget below the image. Refer to the storyboard what challenge are you planning at that location. Copy and paste it to PocketTrips. And now set the font styling. Use the same font as the body text on the information page. Lato regular size 18, line 1.8. And color hex 282828. Place the X position at 23 to give it the usual spacing. Width of the text box 368 to give it equal spacing on the left and right. Height is dynamic. Leave at least 1 cm empty space, buffer space below your last word. And your text would be 25 space below the picture. Click on the picture. If its Y position is 70, add that to the height, which is 345, and add another 25, which is 370. So your text widget would have a Y position of 370, giving it a space of 25 between the text and the picture. On the LocoMole app, there will be a native header bar where users can access all camera functions to take a photo, video, or audio recording through the activity button. So all you need to do for your challenge is give the instruction. Example here, take a photograph with the rainoculars and hashtag it to LocoMole. If you want to add a video onto the page instead of an image, you can drag in the video widget. Let's place it to the same coordinates as the image. And browse resource to upload the MP4 video. But first, before uploading your MP4 video, which will add to the project's total file size, please downsize your video with an external video compressor. You can Google search online video compressor. follow any of these links. To convert your video to a smaller resolution, 360p is enough to be high res for both phones and tablets, and a small file size will do. The video has been reduced from 39 megabytes down to 3.3 megabytes. Save it to your computer, go back to PocketTrips and upload. Select the video and it will play in your video widget. You can save the page and view page to preview the video. If you do not have a self-taken video, you can also use the video widget to stream a video from YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for your video. Then get the embed code by clicking on Share, then Embed. And this will give you this embed code, which you copy and paste into PocketTrips Video Widgets Properties. Press Enter after you paste it, and your video will appear in the video widget. You can save and view page to test it out. Unlike the quiz widget, which can be hyperlinked, for other challenge pages, you will need to add in a continue button to bring people to the challenge completed page. Drag in an image widget, browse resource, find the continue button. If your challenge entails having a HTML5 interactive game, create a new page. Drag the Htmlframe widget over the whole page. Follow the coordinates of the page width 414 and page height 656. Browse resource to upload the zip file of the interactive game. That zip file contains all of the images and scripts used in the interactive game. Add it to the Htmlframe widget and you can preview your game with save and view page. Click on the Htmlframe widget to hyperlink the game to the challenge completed page. Also remember to hyperlink the game instruction page to the game. So to convert this to the game instruction page, for example, if it is a game challenge, change the continue button to a play button. And then hyperlink it to the game start page. Do take note that PocketTrips is not a game creation tool, though the Htmlframe widget allows you to upload pre-programmed HTML5 games. Certain hotspots may have an image recognition challenge planned in the storyboard. An image recognition challenge involves asking the users to find an object, like a mini treasure hunt. Once found, tap Scan, which will link the phone to the camera scanning mode, and they will point at the object through the phone's camera scanning mode, which will then recognize the object and trigger the next page's content. So how do you train this object to be recognized by the app? click the X to close the authoring tool. If you take a look at the template, there is an image recognition hotspot example. I have taken 10 to 20 photographs of that same object from slightly different angles and slightly different distance, some in landscape and some in portrait. Once I publish the trail, this set of images will be automatically trained by the server to be recognized as that image recognition object. To add images, click on the Add Image button, Add Files, browse your computer for photographs of that object, and you can multi-select to upload all. Click Start Upload, click on the X, and those images will be added to the set here to be trained. You can click on which picture you want to be the clue. In camera scanning mode, there will be a thumbnail of this image shown as a clue for users to help them find the object. To delete certain images from the list, click on it and press the bin icon. All images to be trained as an image recognition object should be pre-downsized before uploading to PocketTrips. Use an image converter software such as Faststone Photo Resizer to batch downsize this whole set of images down to about 800 width will do. To save time training the images and to save on the project file size. There is a FAQ button here to give you some tips on the best kind of object to use and so on. It is best to use an object with not too plain textures, meaning not a wall or a floor, but not too complicated background either. Try to zoom in on that object. Choose an object at your eye level, like a sculpture, a statue, a painting, an artwork, a printout, a logo, a signboard, a plug like this, and zoom in on the object to capture it 10 to 20 photos from different angles to be trained as an image recognition. Next, you must link the scan button on the Seeker Challenge page to activate the camera scanning mode. The JavaScript to do that is already here. You need to change the hotspot number to the hotspot number of your trained image recognition set of images, and change the page number at the back to the next page to be activated by the image recognition match upon a successful scan. So this page number here would bring you to the next page to be activated, which in this case is a placeholder for a game, thus the Htmlframe widget. And how do you get this hotspot number of your image recognition set of images? Right click and inspect. Click on the image recognition hotspot, create a new page, a blank page. Right click on this page and click inspect. That will bring up this HTML code on the right here, and you can see the hotspot number, hotspot 45. Thus, you know that this image recognition hotspot is known as hotspot 45. Now go back to your image recognition instruction page. And on the scan button, there you have it, linking to hotspot 45. And upon a successful scan, it will activate page 12 of this hotspot, which is the next game. If you need to add in one more new image recognition object, click on this blue camera icon here, plant the pin on the map. For example, I want to create an IR at Gardens by the Bay flower dome. I'll plant it here. This will pop up. I'll just give it the name IR flower dome. Add image to upload my set of images of whichever object in the flower dome that I'm planning to train to be recognized. Start upload at 100%, click X. All the images are added here. Save. Then click next and publish the trail. And then remember to add in the image recognition instructions in the challenge page, just like this. And link the scan button just like this. Whenever you are adding new widgets, you can refer to another template page to check its coordinates if you don't already have it written down. So you will look at another page, click on the continue button, 87.580.242.43. Apply that same coordinates back to your page. The Y position, the height, will need to be shifted depending on the length of your content. So let's shift this down. First, extend the page template lower. Drag down the white background. Click on the continue button and shift it down, or lower the Y position. Give at least 1 cm empty space above and below the continue button. Now it is in place, link the continue button. Click on it, go to the properties column and hyperlink internal to your challenge complete page. Save and view page to test out your link. Clicking on the continue button will now bring me to the challenge completed page. Let's open up the challenge completed page. Go to the drop down. On the challenge completed page, we have one image widget with the challenge completed logo. X position 54, Y 40, width and height 306. And that will place this square in the middle here. Clicking on the gray card, you can see the coordinates X 23, Y 390, width 367, height 215. This well done header has the coordinates X 40, Y 405, width 248, height 48. Lastly, this completed instructions has the coordinates of 40, 455, 334, 145. And behind there is the usual white background following the page width and height, which is the minimum of 00414,657. Notice that the background layer needs to be the bottom layer on the layers column, otherwise it will block the rest above it. If you have finished editing all the content pages, click on the X button at the top right to close the authoring tool. What if your storyboard has more hotspots than the template provided to you? Instead of creating a new hotspot from scratch and creating new pages starting from a blank template and putting all the widgets in place one by one, which would be rather tedious, let's use the duplicate function, also known as cloning, to create a copy of a page or the copy of a whole hotspot to use as the template for the next one. However, if a hotspot's template has only one story page, it is not that simple to clone this story page to make it a template for story page 2. That is because, if you remember, when there's two story pages, there needs to be a header bar at the top and the page numbering at the bottom, linking each one to the next page and back. Therefore, it is easier to start with a template with two story pages if your new hotspot on the storyboard intends to have two story pages. Otherwise, as you can imagine, if you are going from a 2-page story template into a 1-page story only, you will need to delete the top header bar and shift up everything by 100. And so on. And also delete away the bottom and shift up the template. Or if you were starting from a one-page template and you want to create a second story page, you will need to shift down everything by 100 and shift down every widget by 100. And so on. But that's not all. You would still have to insert in the icon of the next page, add in the gray arrow, and add in the text with the next page's story header, all with the correct coordinates and font styling. Thus, we recommend to find a 2-page template if your new story has 2 pages, or 1 page for 1 page. So what do you do if you are out of 2-page templates, or your storyboard has more hotspots than the total number of hotspots in our template? You can clone any hotspot as the template for a new hotspot. Select which hotspot is most suitable to you, for example, one with a 2-page template, and then mouse over the pin on the map and click on the center icon to clone that whole hotspot. A copy of that hotspot will be cloned at the bottom, with every page retained, with its widgets, coordinates, text, and stylings all in place. And then, as taught earlier, just click on each widget to change it to your new content. Cloning a page would be useful if, for example, you have 2 challenges instead of 1. You can mouse over challenge page 1, click the clone icon, the center icon above the page, to create an exact copy of the page, with all the widgets, text, coordinates, and stylings all retained. Now you can use this cloned page as the template to create your next page or next challenge. Click on each widget, browse resource to select your new image you want to use. Save the page to see the change. Readjust the heights accordingly if need be. And change the text to what you want. If you have added in one new page, don't forget to change the links. For example, open up challenge page 1. Now link the continue button instead of going straight to the challenge completed last page. Link page 1's continue button to challenge page 2, which will be page 15 in this case. And save. And then from challenge page 2, link the continue button to page 12, the challenge completed page. Now testing out the links, starting from challenge page 1. Clicking on continue will bring you to challenge page 2. And then clicking on continue again would bring you to challenge completed. That's correct. You do not need to create icons to link together the home page, story page 1, to-do list, and challenge page 1, because the app will have a native header bar with icons, 4 icons to link in these 4 pages. When you have finished creating and editing all the hotspots and content, just click the next arrow and publish, and your project will immediately be available for download and viewing on the LocoMole app. While testing the project on your phone, if you notice any errors or anything more you would like to change, come back to PocketTrips, find the hotspot and page that you want to change, and just edit the content. Save the page, click next, and republish. And immediately on your phone, the content will be available to be updated, and you will see your change reflected.